presidency says that President Cyril Ramaphosa has requested Deputy President David Mabuza to remain in his role until such a time the modalities of his departure and transition have been finalized. In a brief response to SABC News, presidential spokesperson Vincent Magwenya confirmed that Mabuza expressed his desire to step down from his position. This followed the outcome of the party's governing leadership elections in December of 2022. Mabuza confirmed he has resigned as Deputy President of the Republic of South Africa in an address at his brother's burial service in Mpumalanga. He had declined a nomination from the floor at the ANC 55th National Conference in December, and Paul Mashatile was elected as the Deputy President of the party. Mabuza was also not present at the party's ANC Lekgotla and Cabinet Lekgotla. The ANC Caucus in Parliament says it will welcome 4 new members this week. They include the party's Deputy President Paul Mashatile, the second Deputy Secretary General Maropene Ramokgopa, the former KwaZulu-Natal Premier Sihle Zikalala, and the former Johannesburg Mayor Park Stow. This follows the resignation of 4 ANC members in the National Assembly. It is understood Mashatile's swearing in will pave the way for President Cyril Ramaphosa to include him in the National Cabinet. Meanwhile, Deputy President David Mabuza has confirmed that he has resigned as Deputy President of the country. For more on this, we speak to political analyst Doctor Ntsikelelo Breakfast on Zoom. Thank you so much for your time, Dr. Breakfast. So what do you make of where Mabuza chose to announce his resignation, and was this the right time for him to resign?
Yeah, I think the turn of events gives credence to what I've been saying, that the president must not be hasty in terms of decision-making or in terms of restructuring his executive, largely because some people might jump ship. So I think this is a case in point. It makes it easier for him now to appoint Paul Mashatile. I think the challenge for David Mabuza is that there is a bad blood between himself and a radical economic transformation, because some of those people in that faction, they feel let down by him, or they are still holding a grudge against him. So he cannot gravitate to that space now. On the other hand, he has been rejected by the dominant faction of the ANC because he was operating on a wrong assumption that if you abide by the orders of the president and you are disciplined, the dominant faction will return the favor to him. So I think he feels let down, because had it not been for him, President Ramaphosa would never have become a president in the first place. But I guess, you know, in politics, not all your strategies can achieve their intended objectives. No wonder he has opted for this way out, so that he can interact with the branches and work his way up.
Right, Dr. Breakfast, yesterday I listened to a conversation with one of my colleagues on the platform yesterday, and one of the analysts actually said that this move was a vintage Mabuza move of not putting the president in a difficult position of having to contend with the decision of firing people. Would you agree with this statement? Yes,
you must remember, you know, on the battlefield, you need to analyze the strong points of your opponent and the weaknesses of your opponent, alongside your own strong points and your own weaknesses, then make a move. So even if he wants to throw his toys around, I can bet my bottom dollar he will lose that battle. So I think he's trying to protect himself. I mean, just imagine if he's not appointed again. That will have a huge political meaning. So I think this is a smart move. All is not lost. I think he can still bounce back again with the bank, you know.
Right, let's talk about his role as the Deputy President, essentially the leader of government business. What legacy does he leave?
I don't think he leaves a good legacy. I mean, I don't think that there were things that were allocated. You must remember, the responsibilities of the Deputy President are allocated by the head of state. So I don't think that President Ramaphosa wanted to give him a lot of responsibilities, because I think maybe there was a fear that that was going to put him under the spotlight, to outshine him. So I don't remember him doing something that stands out, rather than, you know, auxiliary functions and maybe standing in for the president every now and then.
Dr. Breakfast, he's also chosen to take the back seat on many occasions when we've seen certain things happening in government. What do you make of Mabuza's leadership as the deputy president? I know that we've just spoke about the legacy he leaves behind.
Well, I mean, at a strategic level, I mean, he's a smart politician in the sense that he knows when to speak, when to keep quiet. I think those are qualities of a good politician. So he doesn't respond to everything. And he has shown himself to be a disciplined person. So I think in a way that paints a picture that he's a good leader, even though there are some ethical questions about him. But I think this is a smart move to walk out of government in your own terms.
Right, when we look at 2027, if he might want to come back, for another shot at the presidency again, do you think this would be the right time for him to hit the base again to try and garner support in the bases of the ANC?
Yes, because you must remember, as things stand, there's a bad blood between himself and the PEC of Mpumalanga. That's why they did not support him. So now he needs to go there by himself and establish that link between himself and the branches, and then work his way up. I don't think that will take him a long time. It's just a matter of time. So that's why I'm saying, I mean, all is not lost. I believe that he can still re-emerge again in politics.
And so much has also been said around this figure, this political figure. Did he really deal with corruption allegations?
Against himself or
against himself? Yes.
Yeah, you must remember, I think before President Ramaphosa appointed his first cabinet, he subjected himself to the Integrity Commission. That was a good move again, because that meant that he can subject himself to the processes of the ANC, and he was not found wanting. So I was very impressed with him in that regard. So I don't think that there have been any charges against him that have been proven beyond reasonable doubt by any court of law, rather than gossip and the perception that people hold about him.
So now, Dr. Breakfast, Paul Mashatile has been elected the new ANC deputy president and appointed deputy president of the country. What do you think we can expect from him?
Well, I mean, I think it's a good thing that he's going to step up to the plate and be the deputy president of the country, given the fact that he's a deputy president of the ANC, because that will basically avoid a situation whereby you have two centers of power. I mean, at some point, I think he was a minister during the time of Jacob Zuma, if I'm not mistaken. So he does have experience operating within the executive institution. But yeah, I mean, we will see how it goes. I mean, none of us knows what the future holds.
Right, that was Doctor Ntsikelelo Breakfast giving his analysis on the developments in the ANC. We will continue to track the story for you as this continues to be a developing story.